In this video, I'm going to be talking about why a 7% interest rate shouldn't stop you from buying a house. And before we get started, I'll let all the haters drop your comments below. Go ahead, I'll wait for you guys. Now that interest rates are hitting 7%, with even talks of maybe how much higher will they go? Will we see 8% by the end of the year? In my opinion, I think we will see 8% by the end of the year. But why should you be buying a house today? This is probably a question that most of you are asking yourself. Maybe you're on the fence. You've been on the fence for a while. But in my opinion, there are still opportunities that are out there in the marketplace that might make sense to you to purchase a home. Now, we've had a number of clients this year that have still bought homes, even though interest rates have been going up. We've had a lot of clients experience anything from divorce. We've had clients that were downsizing. We've had clients that their kids have left the home finally, and now they want to be able to relocate to Las Vegas simply because they're going into their retirement years. And since Nevada doesn't have any state income tax, that helps everybody out when it comes to their taxes and their finances. This is why the Las Vegas market will always be a strong market, simply because if you see what inflation is doing to everyone today, your dollar is shrinking by the minute. And why not look for a state that has no state income tax like we do here in Nevada? We don't have any natural disasters to worry about. And for those of you that are tired of the cold, you can come here for better weather. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of some of the reasons why people are buying homes today. But with regards to the interest rate, yes, interest rates have more than doubled from January of this year. They've climbed so fast. It has caught many loan officers and real estate agents really by surprise, because it was literally like an overnight switch where the next day we came in and rates just got worse. And from there, it hasn't stopped. And now we're at this place of seeing interest rates in the mid sevens. And now, do you decide to buy your house or do you wait? And some of the reasons why I would be buying a house in today's market is simply because of the fact that there is less competition out there. The last couple of years was super stressful for so many clients. Many clients that we had quit. They didn't want to buy. It got too frustrating. They were well qualified. They had great credit scores. They had money in the bank. And look, they basically gave up probably the lowest mortgage rate we've seen in the last 50 years. Simply because the process was so frustrating. When you reflect on that and you look at where the market is today, there's more inventory, there's less competition because the average home buyer today got spooked by seeing interest rates where they are. And now you as the buyer, if you can see through the noise and you can stay focused on your goal to be able to purchase a home, you will be able to negotiate and get the deal that you want on the house. And there's two buckets that a lot of people forget when thinking about buying a house. Couple of years ago, you had to have $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, if not more, ready to put above the sales price of the house. So let's say the house was listed at $400,000. You had to be willing to pay $420,000 for the house, $430,000 for the house, depending on how competitive and how beautiful the home was. But not a lot of people complained about that. When you looked at value of the home, you overpaid for the house. But a lot of people try to portray the fact that, well, hey, if you prepaid that $20,000 or $30,000 today, what would the house be worth 6 months or a year from now? To me, that sounds like more of a risk than where we're at today. Then you also have to pay your own closing costs, which was, again, another maybe $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, depending on the sales price of the home. But many buyers out there didn't have the extra $30,000, $40,000 combined of going over the sales price and paying your own closing costs plus your down payment just to get your foot in the door. So now if we can remove those two buckets of having to play that game of paying above the sales price and paying your own closing costs, and you literally just have to focus on your down payment, what better opportunity do you have right now to be able to become a homeowner? The sellers are willing to cover most, if not all, of your closing costs these days. And part of your closing costs is buying your interest rate down. So you can either look at a permanent buy down option, which depending on how long you plan to live in the home, it may make sense to do that. Or you look at a temporary option like a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down, where you can get a reduced market rate for the first couple of years. So let's say you're looking at a 2-1 buy down today, and today's market rate is 7%. In year one of your mortgage, your interest rate would be 5%. Year two of your mortgage, your interest rate would be 6%. And year 3, and for the remainder of the life of the loan, you'll be at 7%. This is one of the most popular programs that we are seeing many buyers take advantage of, simply because they understand that interest rates will drop in the future. And when that time comes, the homeowner will then refinance. But then you're gonna say, well, Sean, what if we don't have the equity to do so? And you're absolutely right. That is the other part of the equation. You do have to have the equity or the loan to value in order to refinance. However, you do have programs like FHA and VA where you can do a streamlined refinance where you don't necessarily need an appraisal to do that. You also have those options on conventional loans as well, where you may get an appraisal waiver, but you won't know that until your lender actually runs your file through DU or LP, which is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's online underwriting system. That's the way that a lender will figure that part out. Now, what if you still don't have the equity? Yes, you may be in a position where you cannot refinance. However, let's rewind the tape to back in the day with the crash. When homes were upside down in value, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac came out with a program where you could refinance your home if you were upside down. Yes, you had to meet certain criteria, but there was a program that was derived because of the wake of the crash. Not saying that we're going to see a crash again, because I'm not a believer in that theory. However, let's just say things get bad where many homeowners can't refinance simply because of that. Who's to say that they don't come out with another program to be able to help people out in that situation? Now, I wouldn't make my home buying decision based on a hope and a prayer that maybe there will be a program if I can't refinance. But that's why you look at the decision today based on, can I afford this payment? Forget what the price of the home is, forget what the interest rate is, what is the monthly payment? Because no matter what, if you decide to rent, you're still gonna pay something. So in my opinion, the thing to look at is the monthly payment. Because if we were to play a game and I were to show you 3 different payments, you wouldn't be able to calculate the interest rate to tell me, hey, that's 7%, that's 4.5%, that's 7.5%. You would never know that. And more often than not, when you're buying your house, you're looking at the monthly payment. You're not really buying the house based off the rate. Because if that was the case, every single one of you watching this video would be a homeowner because you would have bought 2 years ago. But that's not the case. So you're looking at other factors that determine whether or not now's the time for you to buy a house. So if you are in the market, I wouldn't necessarily care about the interest rate today. Yes, it's not pretty if you're comparing it over the last couple of years, but what's the monthly payment? If your monthly goal is $2,500 a month, how much house can that get you today? That's the question you need to ask, and that's the question your loan officer should be answering when you get qualified. Now, based on that $2,500 a month budget, can you buy a home that you're going to be comfortable in for the next foreseeable future? If the answer is yes, I would go buy a house, because the trade-off is you don't buy, you're going to continue to pay rent, which you're willing to pay $2,500 a month in rent. So let's say you sign a year lease. You are now throwing away $30,000 to your landlord. And that's okay if your plan is to buy in the future and you are doing the right steps and putting plans into action so you can purchase in the future. The problem that I see with a lot of buyers is that they'll forego the opportunity to purchase today and say, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna time the market. Okay, that's fine. What'll happen is we're going into the holidays right now. You're gonna spend money probably on Thanksgiving. You're gonna spend money during Christmas. You're probably gonna spend some money during the New Year's. Now you've come into 3 holidays that you're spending more money than probably what you have, putting it on credit cards, or maybe you've had a savings account that now you're depleting. Now you've racked up debt. So we roll into 2023. And guess what? Maybe you get a tax refund. But instead of using that money to put towards your savings or put towards a future down payment, you're now paying off your credit cards. But then guess what? We roll into the spring season. And then you want to go on a vacation because you're tired of the cold. Let's go find a beach somewhere that we can go hang out on for a week or 2. Then guess what? You rack up more credit card debt. Or you've got kids and then the summertime rolls around and then you go on the family vacation and we're going to rack up more credit card debt. And then guess what? October will come around and we're going to be having this conversation and I'm going to ask you, what have you done to put yourself in a position to buy a house? And you haven't done anything. And I've seen this over and over and over in my 15 years of doing this. that people fall into the same cyclical mistakes that they've made. And this is why you don't ever get ahead in life when it comes to your finances. So you have to take this serious and you have to create a budget. Having the right budget, regardless if the interest rate is 2% or 7%, can help you become a homeowner. Having the right strategy, whether interest rates are 2% or 7%, can help you become a homeowner. This is why it's good to have a good real estate agent by your side and a good loan officer, because combined, we can come up with the right strategy to help you cross the bridge and not make homeownership so complicated, because it's really not. But these are some of the things you have to be disciplined to in order to get to where you want to be. It's like anything else in life. You have to sacrifice sometimes to get to the next level. You have to be more disciplined to do more. It doesn't just come to you simply because you want it to happen. For some of you, yeah, maybe that's the case. But for most of us, we have to put in the extra work. And right now is a perfect time to see past all the noise that the media is telling you about the real estate market, the interest rates, and all of that junk. You have to look at the right decision for you, and does it make sense to buy? So with less competition, sellers willing to negotiate these days, more inventory, and you can have patience while buying your house because no one's gonna rush you these days. All the cards lie in your favor as a buyer. So a 7% interest rate shouldn't scare you away from buying your home. If anything, you should look at that as a blessing, because the average buyer is on the sidelines and they're gonna continue to wait. But you, being a serious buyer, you will get the cream of the crop to pick from. And remember, the interest rate is never permanent. You can always refinance that in the future and save yourself hundreds of dollars, and you will thank yourself for the discipline and the determination and the stick-to-itiveness that you had to buy a house in this market despite what anyone else told you. Share this with a friend who needs some help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.